Y'all, this job, school counseling, is not for the weak. It is a hard job. It's rewarding, but it's hard. We're going to talk about it in this video. The world has changed in the last 3 years, and it's had a significant impact on our students' mental health. We may have seen some of these things before COVID-19, but it is drastically improved, such as anxiety, depression, isolation, self-harm. All of these things have really escalated since the pandemic. And we as school counselors are seeing a rise in mental health issues that some of us are not prepared to deal with. These issues can affect students' focus, their attention, their ability to do their work, and even their motivation. Anxiety, depression, and lack of coping skills has even increased our verbal and our physical fights. Students are easily agitated and they're taking it out on each other or their teachers. Students are off task, they're losing focus, and it's making it hard to teach classroom lessons. And on top of that, there's so little support in our school systems. And school counselors can't do it all alone. Mental health professionals and therapists have wait lists and they're booked up from now until whenever. And it makes it difficult for students and families to even seek help or support if they're open to it. Many school counselors don't even have the resources they need in order to effectively do their jobs. So you have ideas for programs, interventions, and different events that you want to host at your school, but there's no money to actually do these things. Many schools are understaffed and underfunded, and it makes it difficult to do our jobs. It also makes it difficult for us to provide a level of support. For example, I've worked in schools where we don't even have enough laptops for every student. So when I come in and do a lesson that requires them to do something on a computer or technology, such as completing their 4-year plans or going in and taking an assessment for their college and career, it's difficult when there's not even enough Chromebooks for every student. And then when we do have Chromebooks, some of them don't work and they're broken. How do you manage that? Or let's say you want to host a family event. You want to increase family engagement. You want to invite them into the school. One of the best ways to do that is to feed them. But food costs money. Some schools don't have enough to do that, and so it hinders our programs and it hinders our ideas and our creativity. Throughout our career, school counselors are often bogged down with administrative tasks or inappropriate duties that are assigned to them. So ASCA has this thing of appropriate and inappropriate duties for every school counselor. Not every school or school leader even acknowledges that there are some inappropriate roles for school counselors because it takes away their focus from students. But I know my job as a middle school counselor, a lot of times I'm bogged down with scheduling or administrative tasks or completing paperwork or tracking attendance. All these things can take away my focus and attention from what we're supposed to do, is that support students. For the last few weeks, I've been still leveling classes and making schedule changes and adjustments. I know it's important for students to be in the right classes, but there are days when I've spent the entire day working on schedules. And this is so frustrating because it's time consuming. And there were students who were coming to see me and I wasn't able to talk to them in that moment or support them. I wish that we had some more support. I mentioned that students are struggling with mental health in one of the earlier tips in this video. School counselors have a lack of training with dealing with some of these complex mental health issues. This can make school counselors feel overwhelmed or unprepared to manage these tasks. And it can make it difficult to provide effective counseling services because you may not know what to do in every situation. For example, self-harm and ideation, making calls to CPS, students who are refusing to go to class or have extreme behavior concerns such as ODD. These are all things that school counselors may not be equipped to handle, especially if you're a new counselor and you've never experienced these things before. On a daily basis, we may be called to deal with bullying situations or substance abuse problems, and many school counselors do not have the tools that they need in order to effectively make sure that they're taking care of students. Many grad school programs try their best to prepare school counselors for what they'll face when they actually get their job. Even in an internship or practicum, you may not experience some of these things and you may not know what to do. And it definitely doesn't help that every school counselor does not get a mentor assigned to them when they start. But even if they do have a mentor, some of these mentors are so bogged down with some of the things that are going on their own campus, they can't offer the level of support that is needed for new school counselors. I made a video on the isolation and loneliness that school counselors can experience in their roles because they may not have a colleague to lean on in their school. And if you'd like to check out that video, I'll drop it in the description below. But it makes it difficult to collaborate if you're the only school counselor on your campus, such as many elementary school situations. So when you do have a situation that you don't have an experience dealing with, it makes it more difficult and overwhelming. There are just so many needs that our students have. And I don't know if you're experiencing this, but I've been seeing in some of my Facebook groups that there are a lot of conflict situations going on: bullying, drama, fights, verbal and physical. And this is a whole nother video that I'll get into later on, But the rise of social media and technology use in schools can cause problems. Students are using Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and all these other social media platforms to cyberbully each other. They're even creating group chats and talking about each other in these and sharing it with other people. And they're bringing these situations inside the school building, and it's causing more fights. And I don't know if you've experienced this on your campus, but I have been a part of these investigations, and it takes a lot of time. It takes your energy and focus away from things that you could be doing to support other students or even staff or anybody else for that matter. Typically, this rise in conflict can make you feel like you're constantly putting out little fires and not getting much done throughout the day. So I mentioned this a moment ago, but managing so many different things can lead to burnout, it can lead to overwhelming feelings, and it can also make you feel like you don't know what you're doing and you're not effective as a school counselor. One thing that I do love about our job is that it's very flexible, but there are times when we are dealing with overwhelming demands, doing so many things all at once. We have to meet with students and support them. We have to collaborate with teachers, attend grade level team meetings, complete district mandated duties, attend parent conferences. You can have your whole day planned out. When you walk in the door, you can sit down and create a to-do list, and then a crisis happens and it derails your whole day. And sometimes it's hard as a school counselor to prioritize what is the most important thing because we have so many things that we have to do all at once. And I try my hardest not to take any work home because I want to make sure that I honor my own boundaries, but sometimes it's difficult. But many people do not have that mindset and they do take work home and they get overwhelmed, or it takes time away from their families or their friends or their loved ones or even their pets. It can also make you feel like you're being torn in many, many different directions because one school leader or administrator can come up to you and say, I need this done. And then a teacher can come up to you and say, hey, this is what's going on with little Johnny. Or Susie could come into your counseling office and be having a panic attack, and you have to stop what you're doing and address that in the moment. It can just make you feel like you're being torn in many directions, that you're putting out constant fires and you're not being proactive. And it makes you feel like nothing ever gets done. Working in schools now has been extremely difficult, and depending on your area, because of laws and politics that have been put into place. We have our own code of conduct and ethics as school counselors, but at the end of the day, wherever you live, the law trumps your ethics. There are some politicians who do not have the best interests of our students and school staff in mind. And so they're making these laws, or they're making these rules or regulations or compliance things, and they have no idea what actually goes on in a school and how to actually support students. Some of these politicians have these false ideas of what schools are actually doing or how school counselors or educators are indoctrinating students. This is not what's reality, but it makes it difficult for our job because of the laws that they're putting in place to hinder what we're doing. It negatively affects confidentiality. It can negatively impact our students' trust in us as professionals, and it just makes our job harder. There's this thing now where it feels like ethics versus law. And it is wrong, some of the things that we're being told to do as school counselors. And it makes it difficult. And a lot of educators are leaving because of these things that are being put into place. So after listening to this video, I want to hear your thoughts. What are some of the most difficult things that you're dealing with as an educator or school counselor? What's making it hard to do your job? If you got value from this video, please like this video. It helps push my channel out to other people, and it's an awesome and easy way that you can show support. And then be sure to check out this video on imposter syndrome. A lot of the things that I'm talking about in this video, you will get positivity and encouragement if you check out this video on imposter syndrome. We all feel it, but these are some ways that you can overcome it. Also, another way to show support for my channel is if you buy me a coffee at the link below. I greatly appreciate it because I love coffee and it helps my creative juices flow so I can create more videos for you.